big boy. And she came over and she said, Sergila, she says, why aren't you crying? I said, I'm a big boy, Grammy. I don't cry. She says, Sergila, if you don't let the tears out, they'll turn stale inside of you. Mm. So that was a lovely permission to cry from my Grammy. Very important to let the tears out when the time comes, and you never know when that time's going to be.
Yeah.
There are moments, for years, my mom, as you know, passed when I took this job 23 years ago. I mean, literally, as I took the job, I showed up to do a funeral for my mother. My dad's been gone forever, since I was 8. But, I never quite know why, but you got to let tears out. It is a sign of the love you have, and there ain't nothing bad about it. So, it's a tribute to the love you have for your mom.
Yeah.
But I think of you. You're on my mind when we're in the group settings. I don't want to really say much, but I can see. It's one of the things that I do for a living, so I know.
You're on to us all.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of this job is you learn to read faces over the decades, and oh well.
Yeah,
not my own, but other people's.
Yeah, it was a good cry. I mean, I actually my dad is out finally visiting with some friends. My oldest sister just went back to her apartment with her nephew, so it's just my sister, who I usually live with in New York, here with me, and it's a pretty big house, so there's space. And we got to talking, and we were sharing our last memories, and she basically was discussing about like a nice deep conversation to have with your mom, and how I was saying how my mom and I actually did have a really deep conversation, one of those like touch base with your, and it was very short and very brief and very sudden, and I was so grateful to have it. And in it, she told me, she was like, you and your sisters were the treasure of my life.
It is a tragedy to have the moment to say goodbye in that way, and It is a blessing. It's a mixed bag. Almost no one gets to be 102, surrounded by 3 generations at their bedside, with the beatific light streaming in, and the hospice nurse with the morphine in the background. I've been at such a bedside once in my career. Once. That Hollywood moment where great grandma was surrounded by generations. The sunlight was streaming in. She was in her own home. She had a morphine drip to keep her comfortable. There was a nurse there, and she got to say her goodbyes to everyone, and then she died. Like in a movie. My last conversation with my mom was an argument. Not of any significant content, but that was my last conversation, was an argument. The preceding phone call, at least, was actually about meeting Deb, who my mom never met. So I feel at least like that was a little bit of comfort, that she had some idea I had met someone significant in my life, because she was waiting. That's what mothers do.
Oh yeah, my mom never has pressured me about that, but I know it was on her mind.
Yeah.
Oh. I need to log on to the Facebook and
start. Take care of. I'm gonna probably also do a little bit of business. Have you co-hosted me?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I need that to do the stuff I need to do.
You have been co-hosted. I have dubbed you co-host.
Thank you. That way I can do my screen share. There we go.
Who else should I be?
Well, eventually Molly and Ayelet will come on. They're only doing the Ufruf with me.
Okay.
And then, are you going to stay on for the service?
Yeah.
At some point, if you would spotlight Jen Kendall when we're doing the blessings on her, that would be nice.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's it.
Cool. Oh, I'm so excited. What a good thing to have tonight.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, I said to them when I talked them into it, I actually was like, how would you feel about doing an Ufruf? Because, it's really a German Jewish custom. It's Golfralf.
Yeah. Oh, it was German.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a great. We have other names for it, and other parts of the Jewish world do some. It's a prenuptial. That's all it is.
Yes.
But it's a fun thing to be doing. I'm sorry I don't have any marshmallows at home. Maybe I'll go look for a marshmallow to toss at my screen.
Or just some white paper. It'll look like
White paper, a little rice. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, think outside the box.
Okay. My sound is good. My image
Yes.
is sharp. Everything looks good.
Yes. Yes, looks
Perfect.
great. Whoop.
Okay. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna do all the stuff. So I'm gonna stop my video and now mute myself. I'll come back. I'll come back in 5-10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Don't let the tears out. They'll turn stale inside of you. So that was a lovely permission to cry from my grandma. Very important to let the tears out one at a time.
Oh my god, I think I was streaming that. Okay.
There are moments.
Where is my?
For years.
Oh.
Hi, Eric. I don't know if you can hear me. No? Let's start video. Huh? You can be in. You have wet hair for Shabbat services. All right.
Your picture's not there either. Get rid of the stars.
Yeah, there I'm back.
Okay, you got that.
That's it.
There, that's that, but you don't have volume. No, you're on mute. Unmute.
No, I'm not on mute.
To unmute.
Okay,
No, that,
there we go.
but there's no volume.
Dad, you have to mute yourself.
There you are.
yourself.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Dad. You have to mute yourself.
You have to mute, she said. She wants,
She wants you to mute.
yes.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
You don't have to mute yet. We haven't started. I promise you. We'll mute you when the time comes, or we'll
Sorry.
encourage you to mute. No need to mute yet.
How are you? Ron?
I'm doing okay. No complaints.
Good. Excellent. Hi there, Laura.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Bonnie.
So nice to see everyone. I hope it's been a good and healthy week.
No, it has been.
Someone's in Aspen? That's a
No.
nice place to be.
It'd be nice if we're in Aspen, but instead has been a good week.
Oh, oh.
It was close.
I'm in Brooklyn.
Who's a has-been? I'm not a has-been. It's nice to see you, sir.
See
Nice
my
to see you
magic
in a while.
candle, sort of here. There's always this issue with the candles. If they're not right, even when they're in front of me, they're white, so they become invisible. It's okay. It's all good.
They're very magical.
Yep, that's the beauty of Zoom, all the magic of Zoom.
Come on. Be nice. Thank you. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say hi.
Hello.
Hey, Cliff.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, absolutely. Laura, is that your brother? Okay.
No,
I can't tell. I can't see.
this is my boyfriend. This is Yoram.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Shabbat Shalom.
And this is the father of the bride.
Absolutely. That was funny with the hurricanes with you and your brother.
Oh, yes. Marco and Laura. I know.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
know.
look at Cliff and Pink. Wow. All right.
You look marvelous.
Oh, Cassidy's
Wait,
here.
Jennifer, your aunt
Hi,
Dale.
Sue.
Jennifer, your
Hi,
aunt.
Jen. Hi, Cliff. Mazel tov.
Thanks, Sue.
Hi,
Hello.
Kathy.
Where's Papaya?
Thanks, Sue. Papaya is on a trip.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
right here, though. I'm here.
Oh, hi, Maya.
Hi.
There's Papaya.
Congratulations,
Hi.
guys.
Are you driving? You can't drive and Zoom at the same time.
She looks like she's in the passenger seat.
Wasn't that the whole Mazda commercial thing? Mazda goes Zoom?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. They should revive that.
So Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So it's 6:30, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I usually do, which is a word of welcome. And at this point, we're going to gently mute everybody, and I'm going to ask Leanne's help on that. You'll be muted, but you have the capacity to unmute yourself.
Oops.
Mute where you can't do that. And there will be points in the service where we allow for people to share names, or we'll have a little cacophony here and there of things. But it's helpful. As I like to say, the unfortunate reality of the laws of physics is the speed of light is not fast enough. And even if our sound waves could be ported at the speed of light, the distance we have is just far enough that it means we end up with the reverb and the cacophony and the feedback. So unfortunately, until quantum physics and computers let us overcome that, probably they will one day. Maybe I'll live to see it. the Zoom requires us to be a little bit juggling like this with the sound, but we get to see one another. And I want to remind you of a few other things as we go forward, just kind of Zoom etiquette for Shabbos services. So first of all, you still can kibitz. I mean, can you imagine showing up to synagogue and not being able to kibitz? It's an important part of the service. So the way you can kibitz while we have services is with chat. So you can chat. There is, if you look at your bar, there should be, I don't think we've disabled the chat function, at least I hope we haven't. And you'll be able, if you just look at participants, if you click on participants, you're able to see all of the people. And then if you want, you can click on them and send them a note, or you can send a note to everybody. A couple other words. First of all, again, we've gently muted you. We'll ask you to stay in the muted format until, on occasion, we unmute you or ask you to unmute. Usually, even though we should be able to do it, usually it takes us and you to make it happen. So look for your mute, your microphone symbol. We're also recording, so if you're in witness relocation, please know that we are recording. If you'd like to not have your visage, your beautiful visage, which I'm enjoying, show up, you can hit stop video. You won't leave the Zoom. What will happen is you'll end up with that image that I've done right there. And then you can restart. By the way, that's very helpful if you're on a portable device, if you're on a phone or an iPad. If you are prepping dinner or taking a wander around the house, in addition to being muted, you may want to hit the stop video if you're taking care of some business that you don't want to share with all of us. So keep in mind, not only are you seeing us, we're seeing you. So there may be points where it makes sense to hit the stop video. Other than that, I want to remind you I have a screen share that's on. We'll be turning it off on occasion or putting a different screen share. That gives you your prayer booklet. You can also download that prayer booklet as a PDF from the website. And if you don't have it and you're not paying attention to it, that's fine too. You all know that if you just say Amen, faithful, ditto, you get credit for all the prayers that are being said. I want to invite you to sing aloud, to read with us. I want you to get settled in someplace that feels comfortable. At some points, we'll invite for you to rise in body and or spirit as you're able. And again, if you are and you wish, it's a great way of focusing in our prayers. Sometimes I forget to remind you, you can be seated, so just ignore me and sit if you know it's time. If it's not comfortable to get up and down, pick one position, stay there. At some points in the service, we have directionality. We face toward the homeland of our people in spirit, toward Jerusalem. And if that works, that's great. Sometimes we face the entryway to our homes for Lecha Dodi. These are customs. They're not requirements. And I don't want anyone injuring themselves jumping around so they can get from the Zoom screen to a direction. If you want to have your candles ready to light with me in a moment, that's great. Make sure they're positioned so they're safe. We'll do kiddush and motzi at the end, so if you have your grape juice or wine and challah, that's terrific. I have some here as well. And it's nice to be together. We punctuate our week. We step back from our creative endeavors and we remind ourselves that we are creatures, that there is value in being, not only doing, and that we have innate worth and value without doing, simply by being. So these are the things that we try to remind ourselves of each Shabbat. And of course, we have a simcha on this Shabbat and a few words of Torah. And thank you all for coming together as intentional community. Sometimes we have accidental community, but especially on Zoom, we are an intentional community. And I invite you to join along with me as we take this journey together. By the way, just a last word on Zoom etiquette. If you'd like to see everyone, There are these symbols. Maybe you've noticed them and not known what they do at the top of your screen. And they have things, if you run over them, they say grid video. That's the little Rubik's Cube looking symbol at the top of the video boxes. Thumbnail video, active speaker video, and you can even hide the video. So if you want to see everyone, hit your grid video, and then sometimes you'll have to stretch it out to make your box big enough to do that. If you're on a desktop, there are these little white corner stripes at the bottom that'll let you stretch it out and see everybody. And if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, it doesn't work that way, and you can only get a maximum of some smaller number, and then there are arrows that let you go through. So do wave to everyone. By the way, if there's someone you haven't met yet, I have a request on this Shabbat, and that request is be friendly, introduce yourself, say hello to someone you don't know, tell them that you're excited to see them here on this occasion. And it's a really great way, right? Not just the people we know, but to make some new acquaintances and to enjoy each other's company. So we'll take the journey together, and I want to invite us now. Take a deep breath in and release. Now that is the magic of Shabbat. It is the release. There's really nothing we can do if we don't make room for another breath. Shabbat makes room to start over. We need to be able to do that. And you'll see the benediction for candles. I'm going to take up my box of matches. Our last creative endeavor of the work week helps to define the very boundary between the work week and Shabbat. Always 2 candles or more, even though the blessing really only mentions 1. In some households, it's 1 candle per family member. And I don't know if you can see them. I think there they are. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And I'm going to invite you to take a moment and to wish a Shabbat Shalom, a peaceful Shabbos, to those you're maybe gathered with in the same physical space, and also send out a little text or something, or a hug or a kiss across the screens so that we connect with one another. And let's join together in reading. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. And there are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we are reminded that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Although Shabbat is sacred time, as Rabbi Heschel is always reminding us in his writings, that more than focused on sacred space, the Jewish people has been focused on creating sacred time, a portable sanctuary we can take with us wherever we go, because wherever we are, we can create Shabbat. But Shabbat is more than sacred time. It is also the embodiment of that sacred time, a sacred personage, the loved one. We await their return each and every week to our homes. Imagine that best friend, spouse, lover, bride, groom, king, queen, the one who returns to elevate each Shabbat, who gets us to dress up a little, prepare our meals, straighten our homes, kindle lights. We await their return. So let's join together in inviting Shabbat to return to us and enter in our homes. When we get to the last stanza of Lecha Dodi, which will be the next slide, it's our custom, as we're able to rise in body and or spirit. At that time, I'll give you a little cue, and invite Shabbat to enter. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, berosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orek u'mi'orek, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. And as you are able in body and or spirit to rise, face your entryway if appropriate, and invite the Shabbat bride and queen, groom, king, our lover and friend, to enter the door and join us. Bo'im v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, bo'i chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. And you're welcome to have a seat. And I'll ask Leanne to unmute us just for about 15 seconds if you want to give a shout out and say hello to someone you didn't say hello to earlier who's just joined us. You can do that right now while we unmute ourselves just for a few seconds. Just say a hello to someone maybe who just joined on. Sylvia, hello. Boom.
Hi, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Quite a nice cacophony.
It's sometimes it's a beautiful, sacred cacophony.
That's
A
right.
joyous noise.
Making a joyful noise.
Mazel tov, Jen.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Mazal Tov.
Hi, Ann.
And now I'm going to let Leanne gently mute us again as we welcome Shabbat with the words of Psalm to Jerusalem for Sabbath. Mizmoshir le'om ha-Shabbat tov le'odod l'Adonai ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. As you're able to rise in body and or spirit, we rise for Reader's Kaddish in readiness for the call to worship. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrei chirutai, v'yamlich malchutai, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala ba'gala u'v'zman kariv imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמד קודשה ברכו, לילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בימה, אמרו Amen. Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai lai. Barechu et Adonai, Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai. Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed. Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed. You're welcome to have a seat. We join together in the English with the creation prayer. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. we join singing together. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Amecha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu lemata Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla V'avatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Ve'ahavta Et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'beitecha Uv'lechtecha b'derech U'shochbecha u'bekumecha U'kshartam lehot al yadecha V'hayu letotafot b'eineinecha U'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzaiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Together, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. There is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, norati lod osef ele, norati lod osef ele, ma'alechutecha rahuvanecha, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל. As night falls upon us, it is an ancient inclination to ask that our bodies be watched over and protected as we sleep, And as legend affirms, our souls ascend to inscribe our days' deeds in the book of life. We pray that tomorrow we will awaken to a world that is a little safer, a little healthier, a little kinder, a world that is a little better than the one that we leave behind when we go to sleep tonight. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Ushmor tzedkeinu uvoenu lechaim ulshalom me'ata v'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. On the evening, each Shabbat, we offer these words from Exodus 31 of the covenant of Shabbat. The Lubavitcher Rebbe taught that if the Jewish world would observe 2 Shabbatot in a row, the Messiah would come. Now, some may dismiss that as hyperbole, but the truth is the idea behind the notion of our people observing Shabbat is not about it being a limitation on us. It's rather about what Shabbat offers. If the Jewish people would engage in a true Shabbat where we respect the world around us and the rights of others and the rest of others, ultimately Shabbat isn't just about taking a rest for ourselves, it's about recognizing that the world we share deserves a rest, and our brothers and sisters and the creatures of this world deserve a rest. So perhaps the Rebbe really wasn't so off. On those 2 Shabbatot where the world will observe Shabbat, perhaps the perfection of the world will arrive, Mashiach's side. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. As we are able in body and or spirit, we rise now for tefillah, the standing prayers, as we face not only toward Jerusalem, but also imagine ourselves entering into the divine realms and approaching with our prayers and wishes toward our Creator. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל HaKadosh. We continue in the English. For those who would be more comfortable being seated, you're welcome to. For others whose custom is to await till the conclusion when we reach the prayer for peace, I'll mention it again as a possibility at that time. Let's join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Together, ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai Sholtecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha ulecha na'en lehodot. And finally, we conclude our tefillah with a prayer for peace. If you'd like to be seated, if you've remained standing, you're welcome to. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, mevarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. The sages of antiquity scripted almost all of our communal prayers, our worship service. They left a spot in the service for our own personal prayers to simply recite scripted prayers as a beginning, but not a completion. Of course, then they scripted some more prayers that have become the traditional personal prayers. We've left them out and put a blank screen here to encourage you to reflect on the week past and your aspirations for the week to come and offer your own personal prayers. יהיו לרצון אמרפי אגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי, וגואלי. So I am going to stop our share. There we go. And we are together again. I'm just going to, there's a lot on the screen and I have to keep track of everything. So there we go. We've got about 40 screens, which means, and not counting the Facebook, there are a lot of people on tonight. That's wonderful. I want to thank Cliff and Jen for agreeing to be kind enough to let us take advantage of their simcha. So we've been trying to schedule a wedding since before COVID, and COVID came along, and then, you know, what can I say? So once Jen was able to find out, I have to say it wasn't me, I don't think it was Cliff, I think it was Jen who finally got a hold of the wedding license, which, you know, the city had shut down its wedding bureau for months. You couldn't get a form from the city to get married in New York. It was just not available. But Jen was persistent, Cliff, if you don't know that, she's persistent, lovingly, but persistent. And so finally, we have a date next Sunday at 10 a.m. in the sanctuary with all the rules of our current climate, and all of that's great. But, I said, well, that's 25 people in the sanctuary, and if we live stream, but it'd be nice for the congregation to be able to celebrate. Maybe, frankly, all of us have been looking for something to rejoice and celebrate. And you guys were gracious enough to indulge my request on behalf of the congregation. So I want to acknowledge that. And I want to say thank you. And Rabbi Kane and Cantor Porzakansky are also with us tonight. And we are going to offer a nufruf. Now, I don't know if everyone has their marshmallows at the ready. And I'm going to do just a little switch up here. I can't bring you up to the ark, so this is what I'm doing. If you look at my screen, we're going to try. There we go. So I'm up at the open ark. Rabbi Kane was in the sanctuary the other day, taking some pictures with the Torah mantles in their holiday whites. I'm just going to slide over a little, so we can imagine we're up at the Torahs in the sanctuary. And let me make sure that we, Leanne, let's make sure that we give Rabbi Kane and Cantor Porzakansky some speaking rights so that they can also join in this blessing. Molly Ayelet, do we have you there?
Yes, we have speaking rights.
Oh, that's so good. Everyone should have speaking rights, but you're at the head of the line, okay? Excellent. Please, by the way, even though most of us are muted, would you please join in with us throughout? This is a communal blessing. So, and I'll let you know when it's time to throw the marshmallows at your screens. If you're like me and you have candles, try not to burn the this is not toasted marshmallow night. Okay. And I hope everyone has the screen share up. Oh God, we ask your blessing on this Sabbath Eve for Jennifer Kendall and Cliff Armis. We pray that the sacred commitments of their wedding day will sustain them all the days of their lives. May the love that binds them be lasting, and let their hearts be filled with patience and understanding.
May their home be a mikdash me'at, a sanctuary built on devotion to God, Torah, and our people Israel. May they be blessed with health and courage as their love and friendship deepens through the years. We pray that they will enjoy good fortune and find shalom together. Amen.
Amen. Cliff, Jen, may God guide you together on life's journey. May your marriage be a joy and a good example to all who know you. May you fashion a Jewish home worthy of praise, a secure refuge where you may find tranquility during all your days together. May the love you share as a couple inspire and bless your family, your friends, our congregation, and the entire community of Israel. And together, let us all say, Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Blessed are you, eternal God, for this opportunity to celebrate together. Baruch, brucha atah mekor chayim. Brucha at mekor chayim. Blessed are you, O source of life, for all the joyful moments we share as a community and for the joy of this loving couple.
Adonai v'yishmerecha Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom V'yasem lecha Shalom.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Be this God's will. Jen and Cliff, may God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you. May God be gracious to you. May God be present with you always. And may God grant to both of you shalom, peace.
Simen tov, mazel tov, 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 simen tov.
The marshmallow moment.
Yeheilanu, 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 ulechol Yisrael. Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, ulechol Yisrael.
A good sign, a lucky sign for us, for Israel indeed, for all the world, a big, huge mazel tov. Now, you know, simchas build upon simchas, and I think there's a significant birthday being celebrated in our congregational community today, Steve Gold, and I wanted to sing to you a very happy, so Leanne, will you unmute us? We're all going to sing, Steve, a very happy, significant birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy significant birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steve. Happy significant birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And Leanne, if you'll be kind enough to please remute all of us. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop our screen share there. And I have a few words of Torah. I'm going to leave the ark open behind me. It seems to be doing well. So let me just leave that there. And very nice. Great. Shabbat Shalom. Last week's parasha, Shoftim, exhorted us, justice, justice shall you pursue. And it envisioned a sovereign ruler continuously occupied with the study of the Israelite constitution, our Torah. As Rabbi Plout commented, these rules imply that if the provisions are carried out in the spirit of the Torah, Israel will have come closer to the ideal of being God's kingdom of priests. And the portion ends with these words, "You shall do that which is right in the sight of the eternal." Well, compared to the magnificent idealism of last week's parasha, this week's episode, Kiteitzei, reads as an antidote to last week's unbridled optimism. Kiteitzei, which our current translation puts as "when you take the field in battle," is more literally and traditionally translated as "when you go out to war." Kiteitzei lives in the same sort of real world that so many of us know, or at least read about in the newspaper and see on the television. War and bloodshed, unloved spouses, parental favoritism, drunken and rebellious children, lost livestock, divorce, infidelity, adultery, rape, prostitution, usury, kidnapping, epidemics, disputes between private parties, fathers who die without inheritors. All of these are part of the weekly portion. We are given regulations for digging latrines, and finally, we are reminded of the most reviled event in Torah history, the attack from the rear by the Amalekites on Israelite women, children, and the aged as they wandered through the desert. In bitter response, the Torah portion closes with the issuing of a genocidal command to erase their very memory, the Amalekites, from the face of the earth. This is a weekly portion, a parashah, that describes a very real and unpleasant world, filled with violence, retribution, and unrestrained human aggression. These mitzvot, rather than presenting the ideal from last week of tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, rather this week's mitzvot fight a rearguard action to at least minimally administer law, if not true justice. Kiteitzei describes the world we too often live in today, the world of stark reality, a world absent idealism, absent hope, a world absent the dream. Some have claimed that today we live in an age when it is time to put away childish things, to let go of the idealism and the vision of last week's parashah, to grow up, act like adults, be tough, and be real. But as my colleague Rabbi Avi Weiss teaches, reality, by definition, includes disappointments. The challenge is that when reality sets in, when disappointment sets in, never to forget the dream. Once you forget the dream, it's all over, because you won't be able to handle the reality without it. In my terms, if you give up on the dream, you darken the world around you, removing the illumination that gives us not merely sight, but also vision. My teacher, Professor Leonard Kravitz, is fond of saying that as a Jew, you must live your life with one leg anchored in one world, the world of what is, and the other leg firmly anchored in the world of what could and should be. The secret to living with this dichotomy is to understand the reality of Parashat Kiteitzei as if, rather than when. Not because war is necessarily unlikely nor unimaginable in our world, but because one cannot really live life fearfully waiting for the next terrorist attack, the next war, the next tragedy. To live life in that way is to sacrifice the dream of what should and could be. Without hope for a better day for ourselves and our children, really, what's the point? Yes, the world is imperfect, it's battered, incomplete, but its perfection is not beyond us. On this very date, August 28th, in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. He channeled the vision of Moses from this book that we're reading, not just hope, not just a dream. He offered a true and profound and compelling vision of what the world can and must become if we, God's children, are to take possession of the promised land. We must live with one foot firmly planted in what is, but another foot must remain planted in the world that can and must one day be. Kain Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. I always appreciate the chance to share a little bit of Torah. And again, I invite you to respond and comment and critique. Please send me an email. I won't get to it till after Shabbat, of course, but I appreciate the feedback. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity to feel a little bit connected with our tradition and with one another and the difficult times that we find ourselves in. Let me put up our screen share again as we return to our, let's see where I'm at. This is what happens every week is it disappears on me. Oh, there I found it. Very good. Hang on a sec. Okay. Apparently, if you hide it in the base, it disappears. Okay. There we go. So, Leanne, would you unmute everyone for a moment? We're going to share prayers for healing, and I'm going to share these names aloud of those who we're thinking of, whether the healing be modest or major, whether someone's just in need of a little blessing, a pick-me-up, or something more significant. We pray for their healing and their health. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Shatana Carroll, Dr. Elizabeth Matthews, Bracha Bat Zipporah, Gloria Sancho, Eileen Balkan, Jenny St. George, Yigal Ben Alana, Arthur Rose, Aksan Faruqi, Elia Ben Label Vegita Chenya, Chava Gittel Bat Freda, Yona Bat Ephraim, Yechezkel Miriam, Fega Devasha Bat Shendel, Florence Spire, Yona Chaya Bat Miriam, Davida, Ruth Bat Binyamin Vachava, Steve Brown Inns, Yona Tevya Ben Label Vegita Chenya, Renee Fishzone, Moshe Ben Leah, Nancy Lazar, Delroy, Aline. And if you have other names you'd like to share aloud, I invite you to do so. Or if you want to send them on the chat, I'll read those aloud as well.
Sandra Kaufman.
Howard Orland. Millman. Helen
Aaron.
Cynthia. Judy Rad.
Ben Gatel.
Betsy.
Philip Wren, Jen Chinelli, my cousin Karen Tulin, my friend's daughter Willow Wren, Richard Sieg, who walked away from a van that should have killed him, and Julia Ciccio, and us.
Wendy Alderman, Ross McGee, and Madeline Pico.
And Camille Gertler.
Sarah Kersner.
Right. Maureen Tremblay, Gittel Rezel, Yitzhak Bucksbaum, Arlene Brown, Ray Scannell, Jenny Rebecca Brinkley. Any other names? Let's join together as we mute again in the singing of the prayer for healing. Sheberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Cain Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We join together now in the prayers for our nation and for the state of Israel. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us to all appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country sound in body and spirit. For the state of Israel, Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Grant them deliverance and adorn them in a mantle of victory. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And we say, Amen. I invite those who are able in body or spirit to rise as we turn to our concluding prayers to the Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו, אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום ושבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Our thoughts turn to those who are gathered with us through the blessing of memory. We call to mind those who've passed in the last 30 days in the Shloshim. Rabbi Adin Evan Israel Steinsaltz, the great Talmudic scholar and teacher of the Jewish people. Joe H. Ward, the father of Shana Ward Razawi, father-in-law of Javier Razawi, and grandfather to Sophia and Nina. Arthur J. Bielik Jr., dad of Mary Lou Bielik, father-in-law to Aaron Marku, and grandfather to Adam and Ben. And the passing of Beverly Rechler, the grandmother of Michelle Rabinowitz Carney, great grandmother-in-law to Leon Carney, and great-grandmother of Gable and Marlowe. We also call to mind those whose yahrzeit falls at this season. Arnold Cohen is recalled by Allison Rosenzweig. Richard Smith is recalled by Jane Smith. Sandy Weintraub is recalled by John Levin. Sarah Lakowitz is recalled by Rhonda Epstein. David Sussman is recalled by Bob Weiss. Freda Krakowski-Lipsky is recalled by Blanche Krakowski. Harriet Durman is recalled by Liz Ezra. Manuel Feld is recalled by the congregation. Leonard Essman is recalled by Nina Essman. Deborah Cooper is recalled by Merrill Hirschland. Catherine Friedman is recalled by Josh Witz. Edward D. Quint is recalled by Barbara Quint. Mayor Bernstein is recalled by Steve Turner. Sheldon Shelley Akers is recalled by Andy Akers and Jen Wilkov. Mark Saltzman is recalled by Michelle Kirschbaum. Irma Lieboff is recalled by Susan Lieboff. James Reingrover is recalled by Nancy Reingrover and by the congregational community. Miles McKee is recalled by Andy McKee. Alan Marlowe is recalled by Evie Leonard. Mira Sporer is recalled by Richard Sporer. Irving Newberg is recalled by Alan Newberg. Robert Tierston is recalled by Jane Myers. Thelma Keller is recalled by Arthur Keller. Elizabeth Shubing Hoover is recalled by Rabbi Heidi Hoover. And John Aram is recalled by Elizabeth Aram. If I have inadvertently mispronounced any names, or if I've failed to share aloud names, I'm going to ask Leanne to unmute us now so that you can all share those names correctly at this time if you wish.
Ethan Gordon.
I see also Leonard Greenberg, Jack Chesler, and those who have none to say Kaddish for them. Helen Kersner, Stan, and B. Armas. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their memories be for blessing. We sanctify their names, as we sanctify their memories, sanctifying God's name and praying for the coming of God's realm. The words of the mourner's Kaddish together. Yit gadal, yit kadash shemei rabba. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'olam u'la'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. Yitadar v'yitalev yitalal shemei d'kudsha berichu. Leila min kol birchata b'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace on high cause peace and well-being, blessing and health to descend upon all Israel, our entire world, and let us say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru imeru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imeru. Amen. Because we are in Elul, I also want to share the verse from Psalm 27. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh, shivti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai, lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker b'checha lo. This one single thing do I ask for from you, O Eternal One. I request to dwell in your house all the days of my life, to look upon the beauty, the loveliness of your dwelling place, and to visit in your sanctuary. May our days be days of sanctuary from the difficulties around us. May this Shabbat bring us sanctuary in our homes and within the love and the gaze of the divine we see within one another. The quickest of some announcements before Adon Olam and Kiddush. I believe Rabbi Sonia Pills is going to be facilitating Chavurah tomorrow morning, so please do log on. There are an incredible number of mitzvot. You got a little taste of them. Very practical, earthy, worldly mitzvot to deal with a very difficult world, and the chance to look at some of them, at least with Rabbi Pills tomorrow. There'll be lots more information going out. I'm not even going to take up the time to tell you all the information, because you know there is a tidal wave, a tsunami of information about the days of awe, the high holy days coming up. So just pay attention once we get into the first days of September. You'll see it all in your mailboxes and on the website. Jen and Cliff, again, a huge mazel tov from our community to the two of you. Thank you. You have given a gift to our community so that we can begin this season with the, Elul, this month we're in, is all about the restoration and the binding together of relationships. What a beautiful, loving way for this community to begin this season. So thank you.
Rabbi,
we're all going to join together in the singing of Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני לעם שלו, להכבירה בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. יאי לה 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 לה, 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 והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא, בידו הפקיד רוחי בידישן ויהירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא. יאי לה 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 לה, 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 yai lai 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 lai. If you have your Kiddush cup at the ready with some grape juice or wine or brandy, whatever sacred beer is actually, I keep mentioning in the Talmud is okay. You got to adjust the blessing a little. So let's lift up our Kos Kiddush. Vayerev vayivoker yom hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzivam, vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa, vayishpot bayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa, vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayikadesh oto ki vo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Savri, Chaverai, L'chaim, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron v'maaseh v'reishit, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זה יחל לציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And if you have your challah at the ready, so just a quick word before motzi. I'm going to interrupt. I'm not supposed to. Once we're done with the motzi, I'm going to put down the screen share. Actually, I'm going to put down the screen share now. We're done with the text. And you can see one another, and we'll in a moment, we'll unmute everyone. If you're a member of the community for more than 10 years, could you look for someone you don't recognize yet? Their name is right there, and say hello to them. You'll make a new friend tonight. They'll really appreciate it. You can send a text too. But there are lots of people on, and I know we know people, and we love seeing the people we know. But we're a community, an intentional community, and that means making a little effort to meet some new people as well. So once you've said hello to your bestie, or two, say hello to someone new. It'll be really good, I promise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. I have two little challah rolls this week. B'te'avon. Leanne, you can unmute us. Leanne, thank you for all the help. Rabbi Kane, Cantor Porzakansky, thank you for your help on Ufroth. Thank you, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi,
Thank you,
Camille.
Rabbi
Hello.
Liv. Hello, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Helene.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you,
Shalom,
Shabbat
Tara.
Shalom.
Hey, everybody I don't know.
Clean hi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi,
girls.
Lisa. Hi, Miriam. Hi,
Martha. Hi, Maddie.
Francis.
Shabbat Shalom, Hara. Shabbat Shalom, Miriam.
Hi,
Shabbat Shalom.
Cantor. Hi,
everybody.
Karen.
Francis.
Shabbat Shalom.
Happy
Shabbat
birthday
Shalom,
to Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Hi, Dylan's cat.
Hi, Drew.
Steve, you hit the big 4-0, huh?
Hi, Laura.
Pax.
Hey,
Hi,
hey,
Gail.
Hi,
Hi,
Mark and
Steve.
Ann.
Happy birthday. Hi, everybody.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Hey, Jen.
Congratulations, Jen.
Thank
Mazel
you.
tov.
Thank you,
Hi, Michael,
Lee.
Peggy, and Sylvia.
great
Love
service.
you guys. Mazel tov,
Love
Jen
you.
and Chris.
Mazel tov.
Hi,
A
Mom.
happy occasion for the community. Hi, Andrea.
Jen and Chris.
Hi, Steve. Nice to see you on a screen. Usually on Saturday, you're missing. Your picture is missing. So,
Talking to this Steve now.
yeah.
The gift greetings were for the Steve Gold.
Oh, there's Steve.
No, now I know you have a camera, so that's good.
Depends on
Hi,
which
Karen.
machine I'm
Hi,
at.
Laura.
Shabbat Shalom.
Right. So it's nice to see you.
Hi, Andy, Marcia, Mark.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Fran.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Helene.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Maxine.
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Hi, Marcia.
Shabbat Shalom.
Jen and Cliff, thanks again. That was really nice.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Be well, be healthy.
Enjoy the wedding Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sunday
Francis.
is great. Oh, what a cute pup you have.
Oh, thank you. This Cassidy.
Out of here.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi, thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.
You're very welcome. Mazel tov. I
Thank
can't wait
you.
till the wedding.
Me
What a
too.
joy.
Me too.
What a joy.
Thank you, Rabbi Kane. Thank you, Molly.
Serge,
She was there. She had Avi a minute ago.
I think Avi called.
Yeah, oh, she had him.
He was so cute.
He was so, yeah, he was there. He's so adorable. I can't believe we can't see him. It's like so frustrating.
Before you know it, he'll be toddling through the sanctuary.
Exactly.
We'll be running trying to catch him.
You look cute on Zoom, that's for sure.
He
Yep.
does look cute. He's
All right.
very responsive. He has been for a
Shabbat
long
shalom.
time.
Shabbat shalom.
Everyone have a great
Shabbat shalom.
weekend.
You too.
Bye, Marcia. Shabbat Shalom. This is so nice. Hi, Dad. Hi, Bonnie.
Okay, I'm out.
Beautiful.
This is so nice.
Bye-bye.
Hi,
good time.
Andrew.
Good times.
Shabbat Shalom, Andrew.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Andrew. How you doing, man?
Hey, Cliff.
Hey, man, you're looking like Jimi Hendrix.
Looking good, Andrew. Looking good. Okay. Good night, Al.
It was like, oh,
And there was one.
yeah. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, Maxine. I like your background.